Welcome back to the DreamHack PUBG Showdown, coming to you live from Austin in Texas. Now, before the break, we saw recent graduation boy today. I don't really know what you say when it's someone's graduation day because it's not his birthday. Let's call him graduation boy Landon. Took his team to victory for their first chicken dinner in round 7 of the Showdown. What did you think of Nova's performance?
I thought it was good. I'm happy that he's done with his schooling. Playing with his names, I thought it'd be all right. That's
he plays his name as well. So a fun thing is yesterday, every game he changed his name.
Yeah.
So land domination, land done it is. So it's pretty funny. For me, Nova is it's a kind of dark horse team.
Yeah.
They either do very, very well, or they're kind of in the middle. So that talks to all about their consistency. I think they're a very consistent team, especially in the North American scene.
Absolutely.
Well, let's have a look at the standings, because I really want to know who are your top performers here.
I mean, I think we've seen a couple of really big top performers throughout this tournament so far. Who's your pick right now?
For me, I mean, top performers, personally, as a players-wise, James is one of my picks.
Nice.
The nades on him is insane. His kills, his frags. He goes out. If Liquid has 8 kills, he has 5 of them. So I'm really excited to see if he's going to be able to keep that up today. And end of the tournament, he's just going to be in the top 5 of the top fraggers.
Yeah, I think the top performers are important. They sort of get the team rallied behind them when they have a good moment. When James is on fire, Liquid gets behind him, and they play really, really well. For me, it's Texas. He talked a big game yesterday. He struggled a little bit, I think, to sort of find his footing. In the first game, they didn't win, but they definitely put up a good performance, and Texas was at the front of that. He got a couple of good frags, some great rotations, and some solid engagement. So I think Texas is sort of looking really good and will help move his team to the forefront of that leaderboard.
Is he a top 5 fragger though?
Not yet. He's a top 3 fragger, so he has a long day ahead of him to get to that point.
Now, you guys at home, we want to see what you think. So it is time to get your fingers ready, steady, go. Write who you think will win with the hashtag and the team name. The codes are on screen for you right now. We're going to reveal our predictions shortly. Now, in terms of map control and rotating around the map, Avenger, tell me what you're thinking.
In terms of map control, I mean, we talked about Liquid also. I want to see something different from them. I want to see them kind of doing some big rotations and not going straight for the center. We've seen that before from them, doing some kind of change up in the strategies, and I feel like that's what they need to do to really step up the game in day 2 here.
Yeah, if you're talking about Liquid rotations, one of the spots I think they have the most trouble is sort of coming over to the east of Potato Mountain. It seems like that's where they ran into FaZe last time. Yeah. It's where they tend to run into a lot of issues. In fact, we saw them rotate to military yesterday, and a totally new rotation for them. I haven't seen them use the West Bridge before, and it was very effective. They went a long way around, they slow played it, they worked their way in very systematically, and they utilized the edge. They didn't go straight to middle, and it was one of their better games of the tournament so far. So I'd like to see them maybe toy with that idea a little bit, not stick to the old hard Liquid middle push, and maybe try a little bit of that FaZe edge flexibility.
Now, we like to get you up close and personal here at the DreamHack PUBG Showdown. It's one of my favorite things about this tournament. So let's get a little bit more familiar with Wildcard.
My name is Albert Choi. I go by Pride, and I play for Wildcard Gaming. I am an adaptive player, so I choose to be aggressive and passive at any time I want. My name is Max Marine. I go by Tumai in-game, and I play for Wildcard Gaming. I'm the in-game leader on the team, and I frag it. I'm a fragger as well.
My role on the team is a sniper. I hold when the team pushes, and I make sure I get the initial headshot and knock on the other team.
My role on the team is definitely the main fragger.
It's our first LAN tournament as a team, so very excited.
I'm very excited for the big stage. It's going to be my first time ever. I'm just going to be so happy to see my family in the crowd cheering me on.
I'm definitely excited about DreamHack Austin. I think this is the biggest accomplishment you can do in really any game.
I think our biggest advantage as a team is our killing ability, because we're all really good aimers and we have a lot of knowledge in the game.
The biggest strength on Wildcard Gaming is our adaptive playstyle, very passive, and then when we have to frag, we're very explosive.
Wildcard's biggest strength is fragging power and the ability to adapt to any situation.
All those other teams out there, be ready.
Hashtag stack the deck.
They say they're adaptive, they say they're great fraggers, but guys, what do you think of Wildcard's performance so far?
Personally, I mean, they've been doing okay. I want to see them do a little bit better. There are great fraggers. I think Pride, Tumai, they're amazing fraggers, some of the best fraggers on the North American scene. I feel like they should be in the top 6 for me in this tournament, so I'm very excited to see if they're going to be able to pull that off.
They're good fraggers, but they're a young team. And I don't mean young as in new. They've been together for a while, but they are a young team. So I think sometimes that land jitters can really come into play here. In fact, I believe it is Pride and Kickstart. This was their first time on a plane for both of those players. So that just sort of frames how this is a really kind of a new experience for them. So it's been a little bit of a slow start, but I think that they have what it takes to really take it to the next level once they're comfortable. I mean, they talked about their adaptive play style, and I'd love to talk about that. Let's actually utilize the map just a little bit here, because I want to talk about what that means. So most of the teams that we work with have very specific drop points. You're always going to see Liquid dropping at Yasnaya. That's not the way that Wildcard works. Wildcard likes to choose based on the plane. So if a plane travels from this point here at the bottom of the map to the north, if we get one of those favorite planes because everything's accessible, they choose something on the line and they choose something fast. Their idea is they would rather drop at Novo, where they can land quicker and loot more aggressively and then rotate faster than wait till the end of the plane ride. And a lot of teams like Noble, for instance, will do something very similar. That gives them a lot more flexibility. It also has the benefit of making them unpredictable. It's not a team like Vitality, who you always know Vitality will rotate in this direction to start out their movement, right? That's not something you know about Wildcard. You never know where they're coming from, and that makes it very hard to plan against them.
Do you think that they're deliberately dropping to avoid teams, even though they're changing things up, or do you think they're going to hot drop?
I mean, they're still not going to take fights. I mean, you've played at this level. Is it ever worth it to hot drop a team?
So especially in this 16-team meta, I mean, it's not worth hot dropping, and there's lots of space on the map. Once we play in PGI and where we play in 20 teams, there's not a lot of space on the map. So these plane-dependent teams here, where like Wildcard and other teams, there's not in this tournament, but for example, Wildcard, if they drop and you drop Novo, you don't want to contest Novo, so they would rather go somewhere else. But in 16 teams like this tournament, plane-dependent dropping teams is some of the best teams in my opinion.
We're out here in Texas, it's the American West. It's that idea. There's tons of space. There's no reason to jump on someone else's claim. Maybe with 20, but not with 16.
Well, it's time to see what you guys at home predicted. But first, I want to get your predictions. Avenger.
I feel like we're going to see a Liquid win, so I'm going to stick with them. They got to take a win today, so let's see if they can do it this game.
Liquid's a good choice, but I think for the sake of argument, I'm going to go with FaZe instead. They were right on the edge. In fact, you could argue it was stolen from them by the Blue Zone, so they're coming back hungry this time.
I'm having to think about this one because I don't want to copy you two. I still feel like Optic are holding back. They're playing for placement. They're not really getting aggressive enough for my liking. I'm going to go for my mate Smithy. I'm going to say Totality. Why not? I know, come on, I know it's not necessarily the obvious choice, but I feel like the crowd love them. They're an NA team, so why the hell not?
It's just twice that you've said, I want to vote for Optic, but I'll go with someone else.
I just don't like to follow the crowd, you know, unless it's this lovely crowd here. If they're with me, are you with me, crowd?
Yes.
They're with me. I think they'd be with me more if I said Space Station Gaming. Thought so. I'll say them next time then. I'm wondering though what Pansy and Sims are thinking for their predictions. But first, let's find out what the audience at home thought. Vitality, 44%.
That's some V for victory in that
is
chat,
super
huh?
V for victory.
V pour la victoire.
I don't know what that is, but I'm V for victory for sure.
Space Station, 14% though, so they're still popular, but Vitality seems to be taking over the popular vote. But let's see where Sims and Pansy's heart lie. They only share one heart.
With you, Frankie. That's where... I thought we were just pandering to the crowd now. Is that not what we're doing? Is that it? Just say the words optic and they start cheering eventually. It's super easy. But no, I actually think Liquid are going to start tightening up their rotation for me. I think they looked sloppy in the last one. They got punished. They got picked apart. They weren't decisive enough. I think this is where they need to tighten up. They've got to know it's go time. I'm going to follow suit. I'm going to say Liquid, and just to kind of back that one up in the sign of appreciation, I'm going to have to bring this bad boy on. This is our fallen comrade Sam TGMT. So hashtag, what is it? Hashtag bring back or hashtag save him. Either way,
free Gemty.
That's it, free Gemty.
This is what's become of us.
Twitch chat, please support this man in his endeavors.
Speaking of pandering to the crowd, right?
It's all going wrong.
I think that just broke me, so I think we're just going to have to leave the stage before I dissolve. So over to you guys for round 8.
Yeah, thank you, Rich, for the props.
It's always good. It's one of the best demos that Samty's ever had, and it's been removed, so we're trying to get it freed again for him.
Okay, well, we can only hope. I mean, let's pray that happens. But yeah, I think, again, there's a couple of teams that are starting to warm up here, and they need to tighten up those rotations. They're getting caught in certain positions, and we are seeing now them looking far better, far more concise. And if there's going to be a wake-up call, it's the last game. You saw a couple of teams being caught out, pushed out of position. You saw the big boys, the likes of Optic, looking good. You saw FaZe pushing boundaries. But we had Vitality waking up. They were back in the battle, and they'd been absent day 1. So this is a huge storyline. If they keep going, the Twitch chat is behind them. Clearly, you guys at home are backing these boys to do the work, but they've got to now replicate. They've got to continue to push further forward.
I mean, that's the thing about Vitality, right? The French crowds, if it's one thing I've always said, they really support their teams. It doesn't matter what game you're in, what level of esport, they always are really, really supportive of their players. They've got a third place behind, and that might just give them the belief within that team now. Okay, let's carry on, let's keep going. If we need to get better, you get second place, first place ahead of you. But as you say, Liquid, I really want to see a win from these guys today. I really want to see the best of them. We haven't seen the best that Liquid has to offer yet. But when you do, it's such a scary sight to behold, because in the qualifiers, they were demoralizing to other teams. They were just playing them like cat and mouse. Truly, truly a sight to believe. But it looks like the old plane, she's in the air, she's left the tarmac, and we're going to be getting our first plane route underway.
Yeah, it will be west to east, pretty much a slice across the middle. Might make it uncomfortable for the teams further south towards the Millie Island, but beyond that, a lot available here. Plays well to the teams who go Georgias, Naya, Milta. So a lot of the big boys, a lot of the big names out here are going to be happy with this one. Nice and easy as they go forward. I'm, again, looking to see if there's hot drops starting to begin, or if anyone's starting to eye up other teams. As Avenger said on the desk, it's not something you have to do, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it. We've seen teams being very aggressive yesterday.
So this plane opens up all of the map. Everyone will be able to go to the usual location. You wouldn't expect anyone to start arguing. Maybe a couple of close encounters, so to speak, especially when we look towards Milta. That's what we've been seeing more recently. Generally speaking, though, everyone should be able to get the loot, get the areas that they want to go to. Interestingly, Envious, they've gone to North George, which generally is where we've been seeing Wildcard Gaming.
Well,
we might get a bit of a crossover on that one.
That we saw the Kinguin aggressively push Envy.
Don't do it to him. Don't do it to him.
Find a tree. He's got a tree. He should be okay. You kind of don't bother with it. For me, again, the response from Envy is a good one.
I can hear the crowd shouting for this.
Oh, he's coming back.
Cat's getting shot, though.
He is being shot at. He's going to have to move soon. And an Uzi on the other side. Is this your saving grace?
Oh, well, they'll probably carry on just looting now. However, actually, one of them just picked up. Where's that going to be? That's an AKM in the distance. But we'll let that one unfold. We'll talk further afield and just get a bit of a feel for where teams have gone now. Interestingly, Wildcard, they have actually been pushed out of North George. Envious have gone there. They forced them into the Wims. There's literally absolutely nothing up there, so you'd expect them to grab the vehicles, maybe go all the way, take it really deep and go all the way west in North George, potentially even Zaki. It is up there, but look at that circle.
Tempo Stormer laughing.
God, that's quite a very small area, to be fair. There's about maybe 45% water in play. Gatka, Quarry. We're going to be looking around the Longwoods, down by the Chopsticks, the V, or if you want to call it the Ditches area. That's all going to be prime time territory. But as you say, Tempo Storm, they're laughing. They've been gifted a circle. For Envious, to get into this one potentially. They might have to come down and go through Kinguin.
Yep.
We've actually seen Envious quite a bit looting around this area, kind of on the backside. Didn't work out so clearly previously when they lost their initial player. That's why they've now swapped it up going into this game.
Yeah, I think it's a really good response. It's kind of knowing that, all right, we tried to keep our ground before, we lost out, we don't have to do that again. They seem a very aware team. They seem very knowledgeable in the fact that, you know, okay, well, this team's after us. We'll see if that becomes a problem down the line. But for now, let's kind of just sit back. We want to get victories here. We want to push ourselves with 4 players alive. However, it is going to be quite tricky for a lot of the teams on the east as well. You're going to see that huge rotation on the southern roads, kind of the fields, I guess, kind of, or at least the hills towards the east of Pochinki. That's going to be a big rotation route for a lot of the bigger names. Beyond that, though, this circle does have a lot of small compounds and good terrain to fight in as well. It will be maintaining the water for quite some time, so teams will be slightly coastal, but you can then try and predict where the best spots will be, which are kind of right where your boy Dre is right now, I'd say. Maybe a little further south slightly, but he's going to maybe try and be the one to get there early. They know this as well. If you're Tempo Storm, the best part of all of this is the fact that they know they are the only ones who really do this side of things. It's very rare they get contested unless it's a spill-off from one of the other teams. And actually, Godrez could be in a really good spot too. They're down by Ferry Pier. Now, that could be pressured early, but I want to see the big teams who've been struggling on rotations being quicker on it. I want to see them really prioritize positioning.
Now, the issue is with this circle, when the rotations come through, if you look at it, it goes smack bang through the middle of Pochinki, but just to the north on the edge of the circle, it goes through the yellows. Further afield up north, you have a rather large ridge line. You can't really drive a vehicle up it necessarily, so you'll look to be coming across the bridge. You can have a go. It's not the easiest way of doing it, but you can give it a damn well good go. Further down, if you look towards the south, you go between the rocks. All right, it's a little bit open, but you can still get in there. It's quite a bottleneck. To get into this circle, it's going to be quite a bottleneck. You'll have to go through Pochinki fields. If people are sat in Pochinki chilling at the back, it could be a little bit of a nuisance, to be honest. So getting into the circle through the rotation, this could be the difficult part. I'd expect us to see quite a few teams dropping on rotation. Longest way to come from this will be Nova. Your previous winners with a chicken dinner in game number 7. I mean, great for them. It's a beautiful confidence boost, opening up day number 2 there with a win under your belt. Couple of kills to boot as well. It's going to jump you up the table. Nobody dead yet. Everyone, again, with the level of playing that we saw come in, everyone could do the normal thing. You won't expect any early engagements, but it will be this single first rotation where we might actually see a couple of victims falling early. You can already see now your early scouts. Liquid are going early here. That's really, really early.
Well, this is what I said before. So I said at the start of this game, I wanted to see them prioritize location and rotations, which is what they're doing. They got caught off by not having good real estate to work towards, and they got pushed out by actually FaZe beating them there before. That was the early position. So this is good from them to maybe try and adjust that. So
downside to it, first of all, I'd assume they'll be slightly undergeared. Maybe they don't have as much meds. Maybe they're rocking level 1s on chest and helmet. Let's have a quick look at what this is before we go any further. AUG, 15 times scope. Get a sniper rifle on that bad boy in happy days. Oof. Further afield, though, Envious, they've gone central. Ruskies, they've gone central. Tempo Storm, they've gone central. Larson, now creeping away. Teams are already doing this. Where Liquid end up is going to be the telltale sign, because they're trying to get in early. They're actually going to the place now where I said the bottleneck might actually happen as they do approach this circle. They're going below Pochinki. But you've got quite a lot of Envious members just lurking in the mids here. Ruski's got a really nice compound, it's really big and just towards the kind of the northeast away from the quarry side. Where Liquid lands, I'm quite intrigued. I already see Samty is on the back of the hill, which looks out across the western bridge, which gives you that this is a kick-ass compound because it's so damn big. You can see James now just kind of like, oh, we'll avoid for now. Samty's looking, make sure no one's in there because it's such a prime spot you'd expect it to be.
They can do prime 2-2 splits if they want to as well, which is the benefit of the early rotations. And their loot looks fine. I don't know if they're 2-2'd up. I think Samty was at the very least. Again, I'm wondering how they play this one out. They might go east and west split. They're getting a bit of a taste of what Tempo Storm have done. They are the ones who get the early call. They're the ones who are already looting in this western area, so they're going to have the real, I guess, prime choice of wherever they want to go. They get the real cut of the meat. But Liquid aren't far behind. Envy, early rotations. You've got a couple other teams, Totality there as well. You've got to be careful with Tempo Storm there. They're not exactly be resting on their laurels. They are very much showing, we are in this compound. You don't get any of it. James, though, that was a tag.
Yeah, well.
Nice work from James, switching up towards the DP. Back again. Envy continue forward, but Envy aren't too far away. They've actually got the compound to the east of Quarry.
I'll get tanked up and then get in here at least. Not much health dropped. Still going for the compound. Liquid, they like to stay mobile. They're not going to go just dig in. They've dug in central, but they're not going to sit and hide in a compound. They want these kills. They want the fight. They want the ability to be able to move. You know, a bit of space to breathe, do what you like. Nova, they've all got individual vehicles. They're going to start to make their approach. Same in the north as we look towards Optic and Dignitas. Now, Optic and Dignitas, they actually might get crunch time here on this northern edge. They're all rotating together at the same time at the top. I'm intrigued to see if we see a little bit of an early fight potentially. Nop's also disengaged from the rest of Ruski. Knights, they're coming in. Again, eastern coast, just below Pachinki. FaZe, they won't be too far behind them. Nova will be the last guys to approach this one. Nobody is left on Sosnovka Island. That's dead, that's empty, that's clean.
Yep.
But again, such a small amount of land mass here. It's going to be a land grab. Get what you can, get your boots on the ground.
Optic. They're actually unleashing on Dig on the cross. They did have a couple of players up there. You were correct in feeling as though if they get a pickup, you see in the kill feed, that's why. Samty there.
What?
UMP is perfection from this player, and he's going to try and follow this up. That UAZ is trying to dodge and weave away, but he's got eyes trained on this, forced on the reload, but excellent work. Already beginning from Liquid, stamping authority on this map.
Papaya feels bad, man. First player to fall on Erangel. Gets nailed by the silenced UMP. Drills him, he's dead. 12 points move towards Liquid. Nice stat for them. Everyone seems to be going more towards the southern bank. Not quite Ferry Pier. You do have Godres down already in Ferry Pier, kind of scattered on the hillside. But a lot of people banking off this, the far side of Quarry. Secret, they got themselves a compound. Tempo Storm got themselves a compound. Who else we got in there? Envious, they're still locking down that whole farm area. James is split off from the rest of Liquid, trying to get some prime location if they do need to split and get further indoors. But the generally speaking, the south, Gatka, Chopsticks, even the bottom of the hill, if you really need somewhere to go, it's all open. The Knights, they've took this one a lot further than anybody else. They've gone west coast.
Yeah, I actually don't mind Kingwin's position either. They're good for a couple of circles. You know, eventually it's going to force them inland, but if that's what they want to play, you've seen them playing quite late circle as well. If that's how they're fancying it. Now, I'm curious with FaZe, because they're coming in late. A lot of teams were early on rotations, Rich. I don't know how much is available for them here.
We'll see. Next is going to be the man. But if there's a man who can, the Clutch Master will do it himself. They'll go the same route as Liquid. They'll play out in the open. Gives you room to breathe, room to move. Okay, there's the negative effect that you can get shot from multiple angles, but again, that's where you get yourself on an elevated area of land. You've got the trees that you can bob and weave between. Sharp shot does go down. Wildcard Gaming gets found by Hetra. Optic, AKM. The green wall stands tall. 12 points move in their bag. The rest of Wildcard, they're left to rotate around the side of Georgia Paul Mountain, Everest, several different names you want to call it. FaZe, they're in. They're all in. But just look at that crunch. 1, 2, 3 for like 1,000 meters, and you've literally got 6 teams all within spitting distance of each other. You could literally throw rocks, and it's going to be all kinds of problematic. Whether it goes to Kingwin, whether it goes to Novo, you'd expect it to dive away from the water, but this will be fun.
I'm surprised no one's taken the compound towards the west of Dignitas. Kind of in between them and Kingwin. It's a really nice little compound to supplement loot, but that's probably already been taken. If you're thinking about Tempo Storm, they've probably taken the loot. But it's a nice compound to have. Good ground to work from. You get good eyes across. It should be in play for the next circle unless it kind of hard moves south. Dignitas, though, looking for a way they can play here. They're decently looted up as well, it seems. Good ammo on both guns there. Decent enough scopes. And everyone's just trying to find that little bit of room where they can sit and kind of, you know, set up post at the moment. A lot of teams putting a lot of faith in that south side currently. The next circle is about to hit, so this could be very defining for a lot of these teams. And it does shift very central here. Not much water into play, but you're going to see the likes of Liquid in a good spot. You've got Nop and the boys in a really good spot. You've got Tempo Storm, of course, very well situated. It's the teams like Kingwin who can kind of edge their way in forward here. Optic have a nice slow approach. No one really too close by to pester, but the teams in the south. Look at Secret, look at SSG, look at Knights. That is a lot of teams on the south side.
SSG is still rotating through. I'm going to say this circle isn't necessarily one that you have to rotate heavy on. A lot of teams that have already moved in there. I expect it to be a little bit quiet because the circle has shifted central. Samty, another knock from another vehicle. SSG out in the cornfields. You can see there, Liquid, they're just on top of the hill watching these people, waiting for them to come through. How are you alive? 1 HP and a mere breath away from dying.
Samty's in trouble. He's just been picked up and killed. They overextended to a degree. They've split quite heavily, and you can see them fold back together here, down to 3 players. Samty's kill did come through in the end, so SSG's player did go towards them, but they're in a very open spot. That's why they've got Ibby split towards the other side of the hill as well, but you don't want to get spread too thin. There's a lot of teams looking for any room they can, and players swarming for everything here. They want to get as central as they can to this point. Optic will probably have to move to a degree eventually further south, and oh no, wildcard. Oh no.
You don't want to do that, especially when you're literally just over the brow of a building away from 4 players of Nova, and you've already lost one. You're going to have to take a teammate now to pick him up, so it's only 2 Mike. He's been tagged heavy as well. He's giving away the rest of his position. All right, he's got 6 times the DMR. The minute it's going to hurt when it hits. But still, 4 players looking at you. Again, everyone generally staying put. Knights down south, alongside, that's going to be Godrez. Vitality found themselves in a little bit of a tight situation here with Secret. Secret know they're there. You can see the players on the backside peeking away, but again, they don't have anyone in the back big house. That back big house with the little window, basically in the triangle of the roof, that's the nasty one, being able to look through those windows just below it. Being able to get kind of a line of sight and look through them windows is pretty prime. But again, you've got such a large defilade to play off of. They also have the luxury of the blue will be against them, so you won't expect too many teams unless someone was a hell of a late rotation from Sosnovka Island. Generally, nobody should be there, so they do have some time to play this. Ibby, as you say,
look at the ammo, though. A little low on the 7.6, 5 on 5.5, but you can see he's been trying to take pot shots at any car coming past.
I prefer to see him grouped up a little bit more. Maybe that's just me personally, because all the rest of the teams are doing this now. It's such a crunchy circle.
I'd agree, but the problem is that they're so open to that western hill. If they didn't have it, they can just get flanked on so easy. They have so many angles that is super easy to breach up towards that hill, and you've got, like, you know, Tempo Storm close by, Envy. I think it's good as long as you can put a lot of faith in Ibby to not get picked up. This is the compound I was talking about earlier, actually, with Kingwin. I'm a big fan of this compound. Plenty of room, really nice vision. Wondering if they do spot Hetra there, who's maybe working the way through old Shrek Swamp, but got to be a little careful with it. Nova's managed to find one of the WC players this time. So Wildcard Gaming having a really rough start out towards the north here.
So Tumai was already tagged up down to about 25 HP. So his durability on his gear will be looking weak. 2 knocks now. Look at this. They're actually pushing for it. The knock comes down. The grenades will go through. Let's see how the flush went out. This went out. It's made it inside. He's round the corner, so it shouldn't do. The day he steps out at the wrong time. Stands on a landmine. That's bad.
And now the push continues. They're not slowing down for a second. Nerfs there. This is looking like a disaster for Wildcard Gaming. He's going to try and make a mad dash for it. Evacuate the building because Nova are at the door. And that's going to be a confirmed kill towards Pride and Kickstart. He doesn't want to look back.
Run, my friend, run. That was super unlucky. The grenade went in. Maybe he thought it had gone outside. Maybe he thought it hit the bars, but the second he steps through, the explosion's there. And Wildcard, they lose 3 members. Circle, luckily, kind of goes their way. So you can sit down in the ditches for now, maybe hide underneath, maybe try and play for placement.
Look at these quick rotations from Liquid again. This is the circle that kind of screwed them last time, really coming in at this point. I'm looking to see where they take themselves here. There's not much central. There's a couple of shacks, a couple of dips and defilades, but not much. And Knights already vying for this too. You got Voxic on the move and Texas too. Tempo Storm seeing all of this as well. I'm wondering who gets there first. Skoom might have just been called out as well. He has to adjust, run again. Oh my God, James has been found. This could be another disaster for Liquid. Find out, Skoom just about stays. No, he gets picked up in the end. It's Vitality from far away. And Liquid again being punished in this rotation. This circle has been the downfall of them so many times. Ibby just about makes it in.
Wow. Liquid, what's happening, boys? This isn't the usual team that we see. I mean, they've had a few unfortunate rotations, but you know, it's difficult. Difficult. Game number 8 here. 16 teams, 2 of them left with 1 man standing. And this circle forces a lot of people. You can see them all swinging down south. Going to go in, they'll take the coastline. Maybe they creep in through Ferry Port. Maybe they take this one a little bit late. But you do have Godres still chilling there in a 2-2 split. Envious, they've been pushed, but they're still inside. SSG also still backed up. You can see D-Masters in the hut outside in the field. But this crossroads here, they'll be able to see one another.
Comes Kingwin.
Godres will have the info.
Yeah, they certainly will. Kingwin about to have a bit of fun here. Godres already set up, though. That's the problem. They're already in a better position. Larson, he must have spotted them. He has to have been aware. Or now. He's being just smart and meticulous, which is also a really good plan. Suppressed 2 times up on the 16. He's going to see him. That's going to be at least someone silhouetting far enough, but it's not like Godres don't know this either. And Kingwin aren't in the circle yet, so they need this fight to go their way, and quite quickly, too. I'm wondering if anyone has a Kar 98 or something that can dig them out of this situation quickly. Otherwise, they might have to just rotate away from this. They've already been outdone to this position.
They don't need to take him. It'd be nice if they killed them because the entirety of Longwoods is open for the taking. The bigger worry is if they step up, SSG have that compound from a level 2 perspective. They could see these players, maybe. All right, they have the Defilade that can play off here where Gaxi is, but SSG might be able to. They've heard it. Larson fancies this one. He's stepping up.
Oh, no,
but unfortunately, he'll be stepping into a mess.
Yeah, SSG are going to be eyes locked towards this. He's on a bit of a run here. He's actually made it pretty far, but there's nowhere to really go. He's found a compound. Well, at least a building in a compound, should I say. You had Dignitas up on the hill. You had Envy out towards your west and to the southeast is SSG. But the rest of Kingwin, not so lucky. Still in that battle between Godres, and they're on the way as well. Can they make the mad dash to that final bit of paradise that they've managed to claim for themselves? A lot of eyes will be looking towards this, though. Vance on the go. Miraku going to try and make it there as well, but Gaxi goes through, and Wildcard Gaming being confirmed as down.
Kicks out the YOLO solo, unfortunately. Kill confirmed. They end the running game out in 16th place. So AB will be happy. At least he's made it 1 up now. Dignitas, very split out. Same kind of scenario again, like we saw with Liquid before. Taking this hillside on the west of the circle. It's completely open for them. No one else is up there challenging. So they have time. They have room to breathe, more importantly. Knights have split off between them. They've gone dead center. I've seen a crate disappear, so I'm wondering if one of those boys picked up that gun as well. Totality, still just chilling happy. But for how long? Circle updates, not for long at all. They've got to move.
How do FaZe always get these circles? FaZe, Optic, and Tempo Storm in really good positioning here. They're pretty, the favored teams thus far, at least because they have good spots. It looks like FaZe and Optic having a bit of a crack at each other. Keep in mind there's a team in the background, which is Rusky as well, who could maybe get a couple of third-party shots coming through. But that southern side is going to be littered with bodies soon. Dignitas do maintain dominance on the hill, but Envy and actually Uncivil could be in for a bit of trouble here. He's running up on 2 players. He could be outdone if they actually, excuse me, 3 players coming his way. Uncivil doesn't spot them out yet either, unaware that they've gone on the deeper flank, wider push, and they're sweeping forward. Uncivil is going to be in a state of unrest soon. Caden is there. He wants that Kar 98 too. Why not get it? Hit the deck, Dignitas players, because look who's coming. Caden, oh, he gets called out. Uncivil springs a trap, but he does get traded on back and forth. And I wonder if the rest of the Envy boys now continue forward, as Dignitas knows there is threats coming their way. Wookie Bookie now put to attention, as is Gustav and everyone else. Eyes trained. Kingwin, Gaxi in the middle of nowhere. He doesn't know where to look, where to run. Dignitas again. It's Adam this time striking. I don't know if he can get to cover. Far tries to save him, but he can't. It's Gustav this time. Dignitas holding the line here.
6 times with a single fire. Envious, they've heard this one, so they're pushing forward as well. But Wookie Bookie's answering back. They get a trade off themselves. Adam comes in as well.
Wookie Bookie, 2v1 though. He's about to be peaked from so many angles. He can't deal with that pressure coming in from Envy.
They're split between two different fights. It's difficult for them. They do have 2 players alive, but how do you do this one? For my opinion, just kind of run away, try and get into a better position. Might even just bail this one. Having that vehicle there is so much utility. Just bail from it. Get the hell out, boys. They've got 3 kills in the back, 36 points, but really you want to play for placement here. Get dinked. Was he in the... No, that's the finish off, thankfully.
The finish, yeah.
That's the confirmed kill. So Dignitas, they are down to 2 now. That just shows you how instantly something can change. They had the best placement in the entirety of the circle, in my opinion. They could gatekeep all these teams, but they were so split up, they had to take fights on 2 different sides.
A lot of these teams are clinging on for dear life. 15 teams standing, only 1 lost so far. 50 players too, so there's a couple of solos out here. Totality finding some of the Vitality players who had a real swing of performance, but this could be a problem. That DP could shred this car, and it looks like the control is very much with Lost HD. Sprays him wildly, the car is done for, and so's the rest of the team on the other side. Vitality left in shreds.
I'm so stunned that he sat behind that vehicle. I mean, there wasn't really a great deal he could do. They had so many players just looking at it, but Vitality, seeing them go down in 15th, that's not bad on Championship Sunday. That's really, really bad. That's not good even.
Pray for Liquid, pray for Ibby, because he is in the worst situation, and he's been put out of his misery more than anything. Knight, Voxic is going to do the mercy killing there and just put him down. Liquid are having an absolute mare of a day.
Liquid and Vitality back to back. The big hitters of Europe unfortunately falling here in Texas, North America. Valwaka, Snipes come through, the knocks there. Secret, now they're getting the hammer laid down them. Fiend and Smithy. Hedra confirms one of them at least. Potentially only one player here for Secret. I saw Papaya go down. Yes, indeed, Totality. They put the nail in Secret's coffin. They move into 13th place. And let's take a look at this circle. Who has the prime position here? It's Nova. They've rotated all the way to the north. I love this players. They've taken up where Optic had gone from Residence. Optic have pushed forward, and Nova have noticed this, so they've just slipped in behind them. Knights again, still just chilling, hiding away, keeping inside the circle as well. Good God.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Optic and FaZe still in really good positioning. Knights have a couple of players there. Nova are dominant here. You've got to say, Nova really come alive today. They had a decent enough performance yesterday, but they weren't exactly lighting it up, but they're positioning so far. And look at the dominance, as you said. So much map control coming out towards the north. And they're not going to obviously give that up. They can hold anyone going slow side on this circle. That is really imperative.
So that's what they're doing. They're splitting the four and they're taking the extremities of the circle, because once you move up, obviously you get a slower side of the circle so you can follow the blue in, but it becomes a choke point. So expect them just to litter the entirety of the northern end of the circle, spread out, make sure they just keep people forced back, try and keep them in the blue or try and enter it a different way and keep dominance on that top side of the circle.
Kingwin are in so much trouble. Not only do they have such a long way to go, but already SSG are hot on their heels and they're pushing this one. They're going to go running up on this. Already one of the players a little further ahead than the others. Doesn't want to overextend on his own, but he's hungry for these kills. Got that 6 times locked and loaded, and that's going to be a finish surely. Oh, he's lined it up. He's perfecting the shot, and that should be an execution. It is SSG, the fan favorites. Not able to confirm the kill, but does enough eventually to take down some of Kingwin. And now Kingwin looking shattered. One man left standing, Gaxi. A lot of players looking at this man to do very well for himself, but he's going to have to hold back a huge amount of players coming his way. SSG know there's still at least one man alive, but are they going to bother with that? Can they just surpass him, get past him, leave him alone? Because do they need this kill? Do they need to confirm it? It looks like they want to.
Kramer and Drayden kicking off in the back. 1, 2, 3 players there. That's actually team 6, so unfortunately for Godres, they've just lost a lot of players. Maraku finally does go down. Beautiful play from SSG as well, just trigger discipline. Wait for him to go for the res, then get the 2-tap on the helmet. They're now down to one of Kingwin, they're running for the lives. Zampa onto Dignitas, Gustav, he's dead. Only one player remaining for Dig. All these big branded orgs, all these big branded names of players just falling time after time. Maluka, that's a double for him. Make that a triple as Zampa adds onto it.
Look at Optic and Valiant as well. Optic and Totality are about to clash in this too. You've got a lot of teams going slow side on circle. Optic might back away from this. I'm not sure if they're going to fully commit to it, but they might do that. Is Kingwin gone? They lost that final member, but actually the nade came out. So surely Totality pushed this. They've got to get towards this. If you get gifted that chance, push it and go further. Tero does find one of them. This could be the further push going forward now.
The flashbang will save them for now. They're all laid down, they're all praying. No one's really behind them. Meanwhile, FaZe, they're finding envious. Kills are starting to come off across the map. High pop with the 6 times. The DMRs are nasty in this meta. He doesn't have a helmet though, so if a bullet comes flying his way through that smoke, it will knock him on his ass.
Nova could be pushed here by Rusky. This could be big. It depends on how they want to go. If they give up a little bit of room and say, okay, we'll let you have that bit of space. We don't need that much. We'll focus on the east. But then Totality turn their heads. You can see them taking these fights from range. Confirmation the Godres are done for. Knight still in the battle as well. Dignitas not looking so good anymore. And that circle does not have much to it. But FaZe, they're going back towards SSG. They're going in on this. Look at this. Fuzzface wants to fight. He confirms it as well. Dignitas are gone in confirmation. And FaZe are the only team right now with Optic in this circle.
They've actually pushed this team. They've heard the shots. They know where Rusky are. They want to get involved. Meanwhile, Rusky have got to fight a battle of themselves. Nova have overextended and trapped him into a corner. You've literally boxed these players in. It all depends what FaZe wants to do. Do they want to go back to the compound? In theory, that's the prime location. There's no reason to leave it now. Keep a hold of that bad boy.
Well, look, Totality are pinched right now as well. Nova in the back lines towards the northeast are forced to move further south. Optic hold the line, but Knights could get in on this. Kramer's already there and Voxic as well. If they breach over the hill, oh no, they're getting peeked. They're about to be shot down. Surely that's the turn on that one. Hypoc going to be punished on this. The push now comes in. Kramer leading the charge. Bahawaka hits the deck. He's only got one man standing next to him, towards him, and he goes for the shot. That's great control from him. But now the pressure mounts. He knows he's got to hold this situation together. So many angles now contain a threat. Smoke goes up, but is it good enough? Hetra, he's got his back. Trading goes down. The spray, is it good enough? Bahawaka, what a shot coming through from the Optic side. Holding on for dear life here. Smoke goes up, maybe it revives, possibly gonna come through, but there's still so much more to be seen. That's not the only team here. You've got Knights still fighting out the remainder of Totality there. Nova could join in, and then you've got Tempo Storm coming in towards FaZe as well.
Who the hell goes up close and personal with the Mini 14? Red dot does the damage, does the job. Fantastic control to tap fire on the bolt action. FaZe, they've stepped back. They've heard all these shots. They realize that there's still a lot of players left. Mexi with the SLR, headshot onto Zampa. He's down, so now they know where one team's going to be pushing from. They have 3 on the back line. Envious, they've got 1 player just on the outer extremities. He's hiding. Jesse's playing for placement here. But now it looks like Knights are also falling victim, as we see how many players they got left. 2 in play. Totality outside. Nova still chilling on that northern edge of the circle. They're happy. No one's bothering them. They're going to approach this last circle with 4 players alive if they keep playing like this. The problem now is Rusky, FaZe, and Tempo. Only 2 of these teams can really survive, because if you Tempo, you go south, you're going to potentially get in the line of Knights or Optic. If you're Rusky, you're going to hit from 2 angles. FaZe will be able to see them, and so will Nova.
I don't know what the angles are like here. It looks like actually Nova could be in trouble on this one. Sharky actually found the remainder of Envy. So that's Jesse done, swept aside. Nice play coming in from the Rusky side. It looks like their terrain's really good here. They've got a little bit of a hill to play off of. They can kind of control the angles that they're peaking and really make it hard work for Nova, who are under real fire here. They've got a bit of a dip themselves to stay in towards, and Totality getting the pressure back. Hetra up for the battle. He wins it. Totality get done for. FaZe maintains circle position. But Tempo Storm, are they hungry for this? Are you going to go for FaZe right now? That is a very brave and ballsy play.
Texas and Kramer, last man standing here for the Knights. No helmet, unfortunately, on Texas. What's the damage looking like over on Kramer? Is it the same? I'm seeing a level 3 on the back. It's a level 2 on the chest and on the helm. Pan on the backside, so they can take a fight if they need to. At least one of them can. Hetra still crawling around, hoping for some sort of ammunition, maybe some health. His teammate, though, Bahawaka's down. Nova, it's time for them to strike. This is their moment. They've been waiting all game. The UMP, they're all stepping up, and this is what I mean, as a whole team of 4, as a unit, that is going to come down upon all these little teams, all these individual stragglers.
They're pushing in. FaZe are about to get into the fight as well. They're going to be lining these guys up. The circle's going to be moving in about 15 seconds. They want to get a knock on the other side, Team 16, that being Rusky. They want to try and get some pressure going, but FaZe, they're not afraid. Look at Fuzzbait. Are you kidding me right now? He's actually going for battles on this. If they overextend, Haxati's there with him, but this is a very ballsy play from them. They're depending so heavily on the players behind, denying the angle, and actually they get tagged. This should be a fallback from them. They should not stick out here. And if you're going to be on the other side of this, if you're Rusky, this could be your launch pad forward.
This is the problem, though. You've got to get through FaZe. All right, the terrain they've got now, but further afield, they've got nothing. They literally have to batter these guys. Sharky's actually got the better idea. Run north. Yep. Okay, they're going to be in the open, but still, it's better than running through FaZe. Stay alive, boys.
That's such a big angle for Sharky. If he didn't get checked on, he could have got away with murder there, but actually he gets spotted. FaZe very aware of their weaknesses too, and they're holding the line. So Sharky's not safe enough. He can't be a rotation point just yet. They need a kill. They need something to allow them in, and that's the kill. Muxy goes down. Surely it's go time. They have 3 players standing, 1 ready for the revive. Rusky just got back up, but tags coming in from a field. Where is that coming from? That could be Nova. That could be Tempo Storm. There's so many kind of third-party battles going on. Tempo Storm and Nova are clashing on the east.
We have 4 teams and we have 2 battles on 2 different fronts of this circle. FaZe and Rusky on one side. Maluka! Wow! Absolutely nails them round the corner. Gets the peek, gets the kill.
We've got pretty much down to the remainder of Rusky, and that's 1 man. Sharky pushed aside. We're down to 2, 8 players standing. This is a big battle now. Tempo Storm up against FaZe, and FaZe hold building for now, but Tempo Storm have the entirety of the east. Where's that FaZe? Who do you pay for this?
Chico. This is what we saw with all the Gorilla Core circles. Now, we remember in one of the pre-videos we heard Zampa say he's going to be racking up a boatload of kills, and it will be many a member from the FaZe clan. Well, my friend, this is your time to prove it.
Maluki's playing really smart here, though. Early push towards a circle. Do not rest back. Do not sit back, because FaZe get gifted a bit much here. Now, FaZe going to fight this back in by going on a northern swing, splitting one player, two players, Fuzzface and Haxetti up there. So they're going to try and split down and deny Maluki the angle. That's a really nice bit of play from them. Tempo Storm looking southern side. So they're doing the same thing, but mirrored. Really smart play between these two teams. This is the caliber you expect. 14 seconds and circle begins to move.
Both players are lacking helmets on either side. That's the kind of the warning shot there. You do have to back down, but the problem is with FaZe, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile, and look at Fuzz. That is a wide peak.
He's going for this one. Now, I'm liking what Zampa and your boy Dre are up to. They're going to try and play the round, but Fuzzface on the full rotation route. Zampa does have the big boy gun, but Fuzzface, he might not need it. Control is good, but he needs the connection now. He needs confirmation, because they're not quite in on the circle either.
Org.
Your boy Dre, he's pushing this one, but does he expect the player on the angle? No! Jempty denies it! Your boy Dre goes down, and now Tempo Storm looking worse for where Zampa has to come up huge in this one. He's trying to keep it together. Maluki delivers. We're down to a couple of players now. Haxetti still in this, but tagged up worse for where. He goes down. This could be Tempo Storm still pulling this one together.
Several players knocked on either side. Mexi comes through with the SLR. That's long range. Confirms the kill.
Zampa is sweating bullets now. The angle is controlled. Muxy is watching this like a hawk. Zampa trying to deny one angle, find some way to operate, some shot to hit, but 4 times, he better steady himself here. Flash goes up, angle is not safe. Zampa now feeling the pressure, high flash, he can't do anything with that. How much? You're not gonna get away with anything. FaZe showing control, dominance and brilliance as you'd expect.
Fantastic work from FaZe Clan. Second chicken dinner in the bag and on a championship Sunday. One player we have to talk about, Jempty. No helmet. That should have been an instant knock from Tempo Storm.
Yep.
The AUG player pushes in aggressively from the backside. Jempty confirms the kill. If he hadn't have got that one kill, you were literally about to point blank let an AUG player just run rampant in the backlines to confirm that single knock. May have single-handedly saved FaZe. They could have just completely changed everything.
That's how things can fall down. It's that kind of, I guess, domino effect, isn't it? One goes and the rest just go off the back. But that wasn't to be, that wasn't the case. It was FaZe controlling it all. Brilliant play from them. Good flanks. Got to say the same for Tempo Storm, though. Nice position. You can almost see it mirrored there, the smart play coming through. Enough from us, though. Let's head back down to the desk to hear their thoughts on the matchup we just saw.
Oh, I can't think of anything worse than being flanked by FaZe. Can you?
No, I guess not. I mean, they both tried to flank. Fuzz ran a really nice flank play, and then we also saw an attempted push by Tempo Storm, but he just wasn't ready for Jempty, who was sort of in the off-hold position, right? Because even where he was in the crack in that wall, it wasn't an aggressive position. It was a hold position. He wasn't taking shots, so there was no way for him to know he was there, and that flank just fell apart. Yeah,
he was just covering the vector here, making sure that they couldn't flank and get that wall for them. So fantastic play with them. And the wide bus phase angle coming all the way around. Unfortunately, not knocking, but still putting a lot of pressure onto them, and they had to fall back.
So they think a win by Vitality followed by a win by FaZe. It's kind of like the old days all over again.
I would love to get your thoughts on the approaches to the circles, especially towards that end game. Because we had Nova all on their own in the north, and then they managed to come up, basically taking out people from behind.
And we can talk a bit about that. I mean, the most beautiful thing about this is everything is just open. Okay, we got the circles here. So Nova was in the north all the time, and they could just stay there. And Totality did an exclamation job holding down the northeast. But FaZe, they were in the middle, waiting just for everybody to push them here. They didn't take the western hill west of them. They just held down that compound all the way to the end, making sure that they had the compound and making sure that their vectors was free. And then when Matt Roski's team here, they pushed in, they just wiped them up completely.
They secured their flanks. They made sure they locked up everything that needed to be locked up. They got a great circle there that allowed it to sort of stay inside to the bitter end. And then we saw something we don't always get to see, a 4-on-4 opposite sides of the circle. Good old-fashioned showdown. And that was, I think, something that was exciting. We don't generally get to see a full squad versus a full squad. Everyone at full health, literally just a skills exhibition. And it was very close. It went down to the 2v1. We saw Zampa holding those rocks at the end, and I think the biggest problem for him is you saw him try to fit through that little crack in the rocks because he was just so exposed there. Jempty went around to the left side, and the right was open, and he just couldn't take both of those fights at the same time.
Exactly.
Toffee, you mentioned that Tempo Storm have had a bit of a change in their behavior and how they rotate. Talk me through that.
Yeah, I mean, so Tempo Storm, once upon a time, I mean, their drops are still the same. They're a spread looting drop team, so we talked about that earlier. They tend to sort of drop all over the Gatka area. They love this compound usually as a hold. So you'll see them kind of out in this entire spot. Now, they collapse what we mean get together, right? A little bit later generally. If the circle's all the way up here, Razak or farther, they take their time, they loot, they rotate a little bit later. They used to have that same philosophy when the circle was on Gatka Fields. I was super happy to see that change. They decided not to stick to that system. They immediately collapsed to a very good spot. I feel like I'm blind right now. I can't see. There it is. So it was right here. They collapsed very quickly. And the reason for that is you saw with 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the first circle timer, almost every single team, 80% of them had already collapsed into the middle of the circle. So Tempo Storm was able to stay ahead of them, hold their position, and then rotate with the circles from that point on to, as you see, take 4 people into the final circle.
And also, I mean, all the way through this game, not only just holding down the compound, but putting a lot of pressure on the rest of the map, because everybody's is kind of also a transition point. So everybody's trying to get to compounds around them, on the hills around them. It's just such a central compound, and they're just putting pressure on everybody. They're shooting at Liquid, shooting at, you know, Totality. Everybody just coming close to them, just putting pressure on them, taking out their health.
And juxtapose that. They had a short movement to get to that final fight versus our opposing team. For those of you who maybe don't watch a ton of Professional, the last fight was right up over in this area. That said, FaZe came all the way from Mill to Power. So these guys made a very strong transition all the way across the map from Mill to Power through that sort of North Pachinki section, and they found the hill control. And can you talk a little bit about that? They held a mountain and then moved down after that.
Yeah, so they were in, I believe this compound here, or this small house here, but they opted to stay in the house instead of taking the high ground here, and the high ground is very exposed, so they just wanted to stay here, making sure they're inside the circle. Normally what we would see from them, they would be very aggressive, but they were like, they heard Tempo Storm down here. They were putting a lot of pressure on everybody else, so they stayed around the compound instead of going on the hill, which is right here, which is where Mad Ruskies came into. And once they got on top of here, everybody else started shooting on them because it's such a high ground, so everybody Tempo Storm started shooting at them, and they could just defend themselves, just cleaning them out, and the Mad Ruskies didn't get 1 kill on them.
Well, we are ready to see some highlights from that epic round, so let's take a look at what made our top 3 plays.
Coming in at number 3, Caden coming up as his envious push onto Dignitas. Dignitas got stuck in a 2-front fight here, and they put up a very noble effort, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough after a solid play out here. Jesse and the team pushing into them. Number 2. Jumping over to, this is Tempo Storm dealing with Nova. Remember, Nova pushed in from the opposite side. Nova was to Tempo Storm as Ruski was to FaZe. They had to defend against them, stop their push, and then it was a easy fight after that for those 2 teams. Bahawaka waiting a snake in the grass, pops up, gets that first spray down, and then has to transition over to deal with the rest of the Knights. They were playing a very strong game, but Optic really has felt super, super strong so far. Toss the smoke out, goes for the secondary peek, and starts to really lay it down, and works out the Knights in the end.
And the beautiful thing is as well, this was not an M4. This was a Mini with a red dot. Yeah, just completely sprayed them down with a DMR.
I say spray down, but he thinks a good point. He sprayed down like a super tap and spray down. So that was it was like remember when Minis first came out, and that's what we were doing with it.
But that just showed the skill of the player, because he's able to hold the recall and just get those 2 kills. So beautiful.
Well, hopefully we'll see more kills of beauty after this short break when we continue the DreamHack PUBG Showdown.